Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava, page 108b, and this is actually 2 lines from the bottom of 108a, and I thought I had more to go, but I realized that there was such little left that I would just include it in this daf. So we'll start in the bottom of 108a, which the Mishnah continues that if the Bailey took an oath, the Shomer took an oath and did not wish to pay, and the thief was later found and was required to pay double payment, or slaughtered or sold the sheep or ox, and was required to pay the fourfold or fivefold payment, to whom does the thief pay the money? He pays it to the owner of the deposit, not to the Bailey. The Gemara explains the dispute. Abaye inferred the halacha from the wording of the first clause, and Rava inferred the halacha from the wording of the latter clause. Abaye inferred it from the wording of the first clause, as it teaches, if the Bailey pay the owner and did not wish to take an oath, the thief pays the double, fourfold or fivefold payment to the Bailey. Abaye infers from here that the reason the thief pays the Bailey is specifically that he did not wish to take an oath. And now we're on the top of 108b. But if he took an oath, even though he subsequently paid, to whom does the thief pay double payment? To the owner of the deposit. Rava inferred the halacha from the wording of the latter clause. It teaches, if the Bailey took an oath and did not want to pay, the thief must pay the penalty to the owner of the deposit. Rava infers from here that the reason the thief pays the owner is specifically that he did not want to pay. But if he did pay, even though he took an oath previously, to whom does the thief pay double payment? To the one in whose possession the deposit was when it was lost. The Gemara notes the inference from the latter clause is difficult for the opinion of Abaye. The Gemara explains Abaye could have said to you, this is what the latter clause of the Mishnah is teaching. If the Bailey took an oath and did not want to pay initially before taking the oath, but rather wanted to pay only after taking the oath, in this case, to whom does the thief pay double payment? To the owner of the deposit. Similarly, the Gemara notes the inference from the first clause is difficult for the opinion of Rava. The Gemara explains, Rava could have said to you, this is what the first clause of the Mishnah is teaching. If he paid, meaning he had taken an oath and did not want to stand by his oath, but instead paid in order to nullify the oath he had taken, to whom does the thief pay double payment? To the one in whose possession the deposit was when it was lost. The Gemara relates another dilemma concerning the status of a Bailey and stolen deposits. If the owner of a deposit demanded from a Bailey that he return their deposit, and he claimed that it had been stolen from him and took an oath to that effect, and then the thief was recognized and the Bailey demanded of the thief to pay, and he admitted to having stolen it, and then the owner demanded of the thief to pay and he denied the claim, and the owner brought witnesses that he had stolen it, did the thief become exempt from double payment through his admission to the Bailey? Or is the halacha when one admits, as is the halacha when one admits liability to a payment, does the Bailey have standing vis-a-vis the thief despite having exempted himself by taking an oath to the owner? Or did the thief not become exempt through his admission to the Bailey? Rava says, if he took an oath truthfully, that is, if it now becomes clear through the testimony of witnesses that the Bailey's oath was true, he is assumed to be someone the owner would rely on to collect the stolen item from him, and he remains a Bailey. Therefore, the thief became exempt through his admission to the Bailey. If his oath was taken falsely, for example, he took an oath that the animal given as a deposit died naturally, and it is now clear that his oath was false, he is assumed to be someone whom the owner would not rely on to collect the stolen item from them. And he is no longer a bailee. In this case, the thief did not become exempt through his admission to the bailee. Boy Rava raised a dilemma concerning the previous ruling. If a bailee rose to take a false oath, but the owner did not let him, what is halacha? Should he be considered as one who had been taking a false oath, as was his intention, and he is no longer a bailee, or since he never actually took the false oath, will he still be a bailee? The Gemara comments, the question shall stand unresolved. The teku. What does it mean that he didn't let him? I don't understand that. If you're in a bezin, you have to let him. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, whatever. It's a teku. Teku number 136. The Gemara notes that Rav Kahana would teach Rava's question like this. As quoted above, Rav Yomi would teach Rava's question differently. Rava raises a dilemma. If he actually took a false oath, what is halacha? Is he still a bailee or not? The Gemara comments, the question shall stand unresolved. Okay. That would be, I'm not sure if that's 36 or 37. Yeah, it has to be 37 because it's a slightly different question. 137, and then there's going to be 138, and that's going to be it. So there's like 4 tekus on this. Okay, so we'll finish the tekus. The Gemara relates another dilemma concerning the status of a bailee. The Gemara relates another dilemma concerning the status of a bailee and stolen item deposits. If the owner of a deposit demanded from a bailee that he return the deposit and he paid the item instead of taking an oath, and then the thief was recognized, the owners demanded of the thief to pay, and he admitted to having stolen it, and then the bailee demanded of the thief to pay, and he denied the claim, and the bailee brought witnesses that he had stolen it. Did the chief become exempt from double payment through his admission to the owners as the halacha when one admits liability to a penalty or not? The Gemara explains, do we say that the bailee can say to the owners, once you took the money from me, you removed yourselves from here and have no further connection to this deposit. Therefore, I am now considered the owner of the stolen item, and the right to the double payment is mine, and the thief's admission to you is meaningless. Or perhaps the owners can say to him, just as you performed a service for us by paying us when you were not obligated, we performed a service for you as well. Instead of granting acquisition of the double payment to you to enable you to be repaid, we took the trouble to search after the thief. We will take what is ours, in other words, the stolen item, and you can take what is yours, the money you paid us. The Gemara comments, the question shall stand unresolved. And this would be teku number 138 of Shahas. I think I'm going to break here. Part 2. How much time we have left? Plenty of time, but still my eyes are closing. Okay. Okay, we were by the teku. Okay, that's part 1, yeah.